Hi and welcome to The Winning Factor. I'm Alan Aitken, and on this show each week we take a look at a couple of the approaching races in Hong Kong and try to isolate a particular element of the race that we might look back on later as having been a great path to finding the winner. Well, Saturday racing this week in Hong Kong, and the first race we're going to take a look at is race 6 and our winning factor, the distance. Now, looking across the field here, I think there'll be arguments to be made for Warm the Voice, for Volpino, for horses like Last Kingdom and Right Honourable. And the two that really stand out to me, and we're going to examine further, are Kobe Oppa for Frankie Law and Karis Teeton, and Joe Moreira's mount Dealmaker for Jimmy Ting. Now, we've got a number of videos to take a look at here, and we're going to see, first of all, both of these horses at their best, winning a race. And the first one of those that we're going to look at, we go to race 30 this season, and this is Dealmaker. He's a very comfortable winner here in Class 4. You'll see him in the red and black colours over the 1650 metres, and it's a pretty cosy time there. You'll see on the heat map, not all that fast run, and he never really looked like losing here as favourite. The next race we're going to take a look at is a race 796 from last season, and this is over 1200 metres, and this time we're looking for Kobe Oppa. He's in light blue and yellow colours, and you'll see this time on the heat map there's a little bit of pace here through the middle stages, and Kobe Oppa, you'll notice he's ridden along a fair way from home, chasing the first two, the Supreme Winner and Red Desert, and they look to have slipped away from him at the 200 metres where he can't really go the sprint. But as you see in the final stages, Kobe Oppa, he just keeps coming, arrives in the final stages, and that took his record on the dirt to 3 wins and a second from 4 starts. Well, since then, each horse has had another race, and the result hasn't been quite as happy. First of all, we're going to take a look at race 74 this season. And here we see Dealmaker. He's up in grade here into Class 3, and he's beaten here as a favourite, but it was nevertheless a good effort. And I want you to have a look at the heat map on the screen again. A much stronger pace through the middle stages here than he had in Class 4. And even though he does get past everything else around him, you'll see in the final stages he has no answer to the big finishes from the back, Rickfield and Warm the Voice, who meets him again in this race. And now we're going to look finally at race 132, and this was Kobe Oppa. He'd had a little bit of a setback at the start of the season, and this was his first run for the new campaign. Again, he's over 1200 metres on the dirt, and he finishes only 8th to 7's heaven here. But I want you to take careful note of him here. Joe Moreira rode him on this occasion, and Joe is chasing him along most of the way through the race just to hold his position, and he grinds away in the straight, makes a bit of a dash before running out of puff and can't go on in the final stages. That was his first run for almost 4 months. Well, Moreira obviously wasn't too impressed. He switched to Dealmaker this time, but I think everything we saw in those videos suggests that Kobe Oppa is going to be more comfortable stepping up to 1650 metres, a distance where we're already seeing Dealmaker running well. Now, we take a look at the map, and I think rather than being in the midfield and chased along, we're going to see Kobe Oppa with Dealmaker up on the speed here, and I don't think that the distance holds any fears for him. In fact, I think it's just what he's looking for, and he'll be a bit more dashing and certainly a bit more fitter than he was for his last run. So the tip in race 6, Kobe Oppa. His winning factor, the distance. I think he'll be fitter for his first run back, and he does have to give away a lot of weight to Dealmaker. These two stand out for me, but I think the step up to 1650 metres is really what Kobe Oppa's been looking for, and we might see a better version of him for that distance change. The other race we're going to take a look at this week is race 9. This is a 2000 metre Class 3, and the winning factor here, the map. Once again, there are a few that I think punters will give chances to. Mongolian King and Glorious Dragon up the top of the weights. Clement Legend, even Crown Avenue down in the handicaps here. But the two I want to look most closely at are two horses who clashed last time, Happy Sebring beating I Do over 1800 metres. This was back on the 1st of October, and this was quite a spectacular win to the eye from Happy Sebring, and that's the race that we're going to look at now. You'll see Happy Sebring out the back, red and yellow colours. He missed the start here, as he does tend to do, and I Do jumped well from a wider gate. You'll see him in the whitish colours, and he ends up settling in midfield, 3 wide with cover, while Happy Sebring is out the back with Sha Tin trailing the field, and Karis goes to the inside rail fairly early in the race, decides to stay there and gamble in the straight. And although he does have some traffic, he gets out eventually in time, and he launches a very strong finish to get up in the final stages and win the race. Now, I made special note there of the heat map and the fact that it was a very evenly run race. Those sectional times, they're from the published sectional times from the Jockey Club, but they're from leader to leader. So I thought we'd have a slightly different look at sectional times from the race and examine the sectional times of each of these individual horses, Happy Sebring and I Do. And if we have a look at the graphic here, you'll see it's a very different looking race. Very slow early Happy Sebring, and then through the middle of the race, the two horses are very similar, the sectional times that they run. And then when it comes down to their finish, you'll see that the finish on Happy Sebring is longer and much faster over the final 400 metres, or not much faster, but certainly faster than I Do over the final 400 metres, and that carries him to victory. Now, that was the difference there on the day, and that big finish, certainly you'd think that there's every chance Happy Sebring will be able to gather in I Do again over an extra 200 metres here, but we're going to take a look at the map, and I Do here is drawn inside. Now, he's had double figure draws at his last 5 or 6 starts going back to March. I think from an inside draw here, Zach Purton will be able to put him in a position where the gap between these two horses is going to be much bigger when they launch their finishes, because, as we know, Happy Sebring doesn't begin well. He's going to be out the back yet again. There's not a lot you can do about him. But I Do, they can do something more with him. Zach can be more positive, and I think when he goes clear in the straight this time, I Do, he's going to have a bigger gap, and that's going to be his winning factor. So the tip in race 9 is I Do, his winning factor, the map. Even though we've seen the sectional times overwhelming there late from Happy Sebring, I think he's going to have to stand up I Do a much bigger start this time with the change in barrier for I Do, and that's going to be the thing that decides the race. Well, that's it from the winning factor this week. Good luck on Saturday. We'll see you next time.